Hello everyone, how are you? So today we're going to start with a new unit number 7, which is called Last Week. So as you can imagine, the goals of these units are for you to be able to talk about things you did or saw in the past. And for this lesson, you're going to talk about what you often do at the weekends and what you did last weekend. Okay, so this unit is all about the past. We're going to learn expressions and verbs, right, to talk about the things that you have done, right? So, first we're going to start with a short quiz about the activities you like to do at the weekend. Remember that we use the preposition at the weekend, not in the weekend, right? Now, the first question says, where are you on this line? In the green part or in the blue part? And we have two opposites, right? So the green part says, I stay at home at the weekend. And the blue part says, I go out a lot at the weekend. So, of course, we're not talking about now during this pandemic, right? But we are talking about your life before that. So, in the past, did you stay at home at the weekends or did you enjoy to go out with your friends maybe? Now, we're going to do a quiz, right? So, you're going to be answering some questions. What kind of person are you at the weekend? Do you like a quiet weekend at home, or do you go out a lot? So here we have some images of different activities people like to do at the weekend, right? Here we have a family, right? Mother and father, a baby and a young boy. The second image shows someone cooking, right? And in the third image, we can see a woman talking on the phone. Now, answer these questions to see what is your weekend profile. You're going to write 1 or 0 beside each question. 1 means that you often do this activity, and 0 means that you don't often or maybe never do this. So let's see. Do you cook meals at the weekend? If you do it, put 1. If you don't, put 0. Or do you have lunch out? Do you listen to music in your house? Do you meet friends? Do you work at the weekend? Boring, right? But some people do. Or do you go shopping? Do you write emails? I know I do that a lot. Or do you go for a walk maybe? Do you phone friends or family? Do you go to the cinema? Do you watch a TV or a DVD, or do you go to parties? Now, at the end, try to add up the score, right? And you're going to see in which one do you have more points. So in column A or column B, right? So if you have more in column A, that means that you really enjoy staying at home, right? But if you have more points in the column B, that means that you're a going out type of person that do enjoy being out during the weekend. Now, we're going to do a listening activity about different things that people like to do in their weekends, right? But they're going to be talking especially about last Saturday. So here we have 3 different people. We have Connie, which is she's 26 years old, Andre, who is 18 years old, and Olga, who is 46 years old. And here we have the 3 paragraphs for each person. So we're going to read them first, and you're going to try to match who do you think talks about these specific things. So A says, please read with me. On Saturday, I got up late, about 10:30 in the morning. I stayed at home and listened to music. Then I phoned a friend and we went into town. We went shopping. And in the evening, I went to a party. So who do you think says this? Is it Connie, Andre, or Olga? B says, this morning I got up early, went shopping, then I cooked some lunch. In the afternoon, I went for a walk. The weather was beautiful. In the evening, I stayed at home, just watched TV. And in C, we have, in the morning, I just stayed at home. I worked on my computer, wrote some emails, then I met a friend in town. We went shopping for some CDs. In the evening, I went to the cinema. So try to guess. Who do you think says the different paragraphs that we have here? Now we're going to listen to check your answers.
Track 16.
Olga.
On Saturday, I got up late, about 10:30 in the morning. I stayed at home and I listened to music, then I phoned a friend and we went into town. We went shopping and in the evening I went to a party. It was my brother's birthday, he was 50.
Connie.
This morning I got up early, went shopping, then I cooked some lunch. In the afternoon, I went for a walk. The weather was beautiful. In the evening, I stayed at home, just watched TV. It was really nice. I was quite tired.
Andre.
In the morning, I just stayed at home. I worked on my computer, wrote some emails. Then I met a friend in town. We went shopping for some CDs. In the evening, I went to the cinema with my girlfriend.
Okay, so now we know that the first person to talk was Olga, right? Then we have in letter B, we have Connie, and the last one was Andre, right? There we go. Now, each person says more things than the ones that we can read here. So we're going to listen again, and you're going to identify what else they say. All right, so try to write the complete sentence they mention.
Track 16.
Olga.
On Saturday, I got up late, about 10:30 in the morning. I stayed at home and I listened to music, then I phoned a friend and we went into town. We went shopping and in the evening I went to a party. It was my brother's birthday, he was 50.
Connie.
This morning I got up early, went shopping, then I cooked some lunch. In the afternoon, I went for a walk. The weather was beautiful. In the evening, I stayed at home, just watched TV. It was really nice. I was quite tired.
Andre.
In the morning, I just stayed at home. I worked on my computer, wrote some emails. Then I met a friend in town. We went shopping for some CDs. In the evening, I went to the cinema with my girlfriend.
Okay, so remember that if you need to listen again, you can pause this video and go back as many times as you want. Now, Olga says something at the end of this sentence. So she says, and in the evening, I went to a party. And she says, it was my brother's birthday. He was 50. Very good. Now, Connie also mentioned something at the end. She said, it was really nice. I was quite tired. And the last thing that Andre says is that he went to the cinema with my girlfriend, he says, right? Girlfriend. That's it. Very good. So how do we know they are talking about the past? If you read this short texts. How do you know? What are the clues that they are talking about the past? The verbs, right? Because you can say on Saturday I have English lessons, and that is not past, right? We're talking about a routine. If you say on Saturdays, like every Saturday I have English lessons, that means that that is part of your routine. Now, what we have here is that we have verbs in past, right? So you know that in present we say I get up late, but in the past we have to change these verbs. The same as with stayed. What else? Listened, phoned, went, went again, and went again, right? Now, in this case, we have the verbs got or got up, right? Went shopping, cooked, went for a walk, was beautiful, which is very important. Remember, this was is the past of the verb to be, right? So we can say the weather is nice or is beautiful in the present, but in past we say was, right? Then we have stayed at home and watched TV. Stayed at home yesterday, right? Worked on my phone, wrote some emails. Then I met a friend. We went shopping for some CDs, and in the evening I went to the cinema. So these are some of the expressions that can help us to identify that we are talking about the past. Yes? Now you can also use the expressions in the morning or then, right, in the evening to talk about past situations. This morning, this one especially, it's about the past, this morning. So for example, if now you're looking this at night, right, you can say this morning for today, but it already happened, right? Esta mañana es algo que ya pasó porque ahora estamos de noche, ¿cierto? O de tarde. Entonces esta expresión la vamos a usar también para hablar del pasado. Esta mañana o esta tarde, si ese momento del día obviamente ya sucedió. Si estás durante la mañana, of course, you're talking about the present. Yes? Now, when we talk about the past, and for this first lesson, we're going to be talking about past simple positive only about positive sentences, so you don't get confused. So when we talk about the past, I told you that we use different verbs. So we have the normal verbs in present or infinitive, and we have to change them to transform the sentence to past. Yes? And in this process, we have two different categories of verbs. We have regular verbs, which are the ones that you only add ed at the end, which are the easiest one, right? Stay and stayed. And we also have irregulars, which are the ones that are more difficult and the ones that you have to learn by memory, right? At the end of the book, there's a list of all the verbs that we're going to consider for this unit, and I'm going to post it on a different document on the Aula Virtual as well, right? So you get used to them and you can study them, right? But this is more about memory, all right? So I want you to pause the video now and try to complete these gaps with the verbs in the past, right? You can go back to the text if you want and try to look for the correct answer. All right, so please pause and do the exercise. Are you ready? So let's see. I'm going to try to make it bigger so we can complete. So let's start with regular verbs. So we have listen and listened, right? Then we have phone and phoned, cook and cooked, watch and watched, right? It's a short sound at the end of the verb. So listened, phoned, cooked, watched. Very good. Now for irregulars, it might be a bit more difficult, right? So we have get up and got up, go and went, have and had, write and wrote, and meet and met. Yeah, so those are the answers. Now we're going to listen to check pronunciation. All right, so you're going to repeat after the recording.
Track 17.
Regular verbs. Stay. Stayed. Listen. Listened. Phone. Phoned. Cook. Cooked. Watch. Watched.
Irregular verbs. Get up. Got up. Go. Went. Have. Had. Write. Wrote. Meet. Met.
Okay, very good. So listening is a very good way for you to practice your pronunciation and to identify different pronunciations as well. All right, so let's continue. Now, from the words of the list, I want you to complete these sentences. Exercise 4. So these sentences are about last weekend. You can write I, the subject I, or we, and you are the corresponding verb, right? So remember, only use the list of verbs in past and decide which one is best for each sentence. All right? So are you ready? Let's check your answers. So we have number 1, you can say I had lunch in a restaurant. Yes, that is the verb that we use. I had lunch in a restaurant. Number 2 would be I got up early and listened to the radio. 3, I met a friend and we went shopping. Very good. Number 4, you can say I or we went to the cinema. Number 5, you can say I or we as well. I stayed at home and watched TV. And the last one, you can say I wrote some emails. Right? So you choose the verb and then you transform it into past. Now, what's very simple about the past, and that is why it's called very simple, because it doesn't change according to the subject. So you can say, I had lunch in a restaurant, she had lunch in a restaurant, we or they, right? It doesn't matter what subject you choose, all of them work with the same structure. All of them use the same verbs. You don't have to add s or something, anything, right? So you can choose any verb. The only thing you need to know is how to say that verb in past. Now, let's continue. So we're going to have a look at these sentences. Try to remember what sentences are about Olga, Andre, or Connie, right? So you're going to read and you're going to write the corresponding name next to the sentence. You can go back to the reading in case you have forgot. Okay, so let's check. So the first one, he met a friend, that is Andre, right? Andre met a friend last weekend. Yes? Then she got up early. We know that that one is Connie. Yeah, she got up early. She stayed at home in the morning. Olga. We know they went shopping in the afternoon. So we have Andre and who? Andre and his friend. Yes? They went shopping in the afternoon. They went to the cinema. Andre and his girlfriend. They went to the cinema and she went out in the evening. That is Olga. Right? Very good. Now I want you to think about your last weekend, right? And write 3 things you did, 3 activities you did last weekend. Okay, so try to use verbs from these pages. You can use the verbs stay, listened, phoned, cooked, watched, got up, went, had, wrote, and met. Now remember that when you're talking about the past, in this case about the last weekend, you can use the expression last weekend, yes, or you can say in the morning, in the afternoon, right, or in the evening. You can say on Saturday or on Sunday, yes, and you can use the word then to talk about the sequence. So in the morning, I got up at 8 o'clock, then I went to the supermarket, right? Or on Sunday morning, on Sunday afternoon, you can also combine them. You can say on Sunday afternoon, I had lunch with my parents at home, and then we watched a film, right? Now, we're going to move on to page 109, the name is here, to see a bit about time expressions. Okay, so important past time expressions that you need to know when we're talking about the past. So, as I told you before, we can use this morning or this afternoon, right? So this morning and this afternoon mean today, but at an early time, ¿sí? Esto significa hoy día, cuando decimos esta mañana o esta tarde, pero asumiendo que ese momento ya pasó y es parte del pasado, alright? So, si estamos en la noche hablando con alguien y decimos, this morning I woke up late, you're talking about today, but you're talking about the past as well. Now, you can say yesterday morning, yesterday afternoon, or yesterday evening. Yes? You don't say last morning or last afternoon. ¿Sí? Esa expresión no existe. Usamos yesterday morning or yesterday afternoon. Now, for the word last, which means pasado in Spanish, right? You can say last night, last week, last year, last Thursday. You can use it with day, or last Monday, or last Wednesday. Or you can use it with season. Last summer, last winter, last spring. Yes? To talk about seasons and years, you can use the expression in. So you know that, right? Because we talked about this in previous units. So you can say in 2005 or in 2019, we were happier, for example. To talk about days of the week, we use on, right? And to talk about times, we use at. Now, in this case, it's important that we use the time and another expression that help us to identify that you're talking about the past. So if you say, at 9 this morning, I was reading a book, yes? Or maybe I woke up at 12 last night because of the rain, right? Very good. So last night can mean late yesterday evening, right? So I was at a party last night. Where were you last night? And what's super important for you to know is that time expressions usually come at the beginning or at the end of the sentence. So you say, they went to Australia last summer, or you can also say last summer, comma, they went to Australia. Yesterday I got up early, right? Or I got up early yesterday. That would be correct as well. You don't say they went last summer to Australia. Yes, we usually use the expressions at the end or at the beginning. Of course, I'm going to leave you more exercises on the aula virtual so you can practice. And the last activity I have for you, have your sentences about your last weekend prepared, because we're going to be talking about this in our online session next Monday, all right? But the last thing I want you to check is some classroom language, right? So you're going to be talking about something very different, and this is about instructions, right? So you can understand instructions in English better. So first, match the words with the instructions. So for example, if in a test you have circle the word, you know that means circle, right? Now, underline the word. What alternative represents underline? That would be A, right? Cross out the word. Cross out. So, for example, when something is incorrect, cross out the incorrect word. In this case, right, this is cross out something. Put a tick. Put a cross by the word. Yes, that means next to the word you put a tick or a cross. Very good. So now, of course, you are going to follow these instructions. So number 1 says underline the correct word. Underline the correct word. That would be something like this, right? Underline the correct word. Put a cross by the correct sentence. Put a cross by the correct sentence. So which one is correct? B, right? So you put a cross by the correct sentence. Which sentence is true for you? Put a tick by it. I stayed at home yesterday. I went out yesterday. So probably you're going to tick this one, right? Now, one word is different. Circle it. So we have meat, milk, rice, and fish. The different one would be milk, right? As this is a drink, and the other ones are food. Very good. One word is not a color. Cross it out. So we're going to cross this one out, right? Because busy is not a color. Very good. So that is the end for today. Remember to ask me some questions in case you have them. That would be it. I will see you in a next video or maybe in class very, very soon. Take care. Bye bye.